I come from Teso community. Our language is Ateso.
I'm called Daphne Kemidcha. I come from Kanungu. I'm a Mchiga. Where the Wachiga come from? We come from Rwanda, and we come from a certain place called Ruhengeri. From Rwanda, we settled in Kabade, and apparently we stay in Kanungu, so that is where I come.
I'm Roland Tumusime, coming from Chemengo village, Ruhinda country, Mitoma district. I'm a Munyankore by tradition. Yeah, in Runyankore, I speak Runyankore as my local language, so I can say Musibere Muta, meaning how is you now? Good afternoon.
I'm Navulumba Verin Hope. I'm a Musoga by tribe. I come from the eastern part of Uganda. That's Mayuge district. Deep in the village, those are the most remote districts in Uganda, and I'm proud of it.
The people live in the eastern part of Uganda as a country. My people are pastoralists, and so we depend on animals. But times have changed. Our resource is the land. Every man and woman in Teso depends on the land. We live as one people. We don't have neighbors. We have brothers, fathers, and mothers. In my community, the child does not belong to the father or biological mother. It's a child that belongs to a community.
My name is Mr. David. I'm Nyankore by tribe. I come from the western part of Uganda, Mbarara to be specific. I come from a cattle grazing community. There's something unique about cattle grazing in our area.
Muchiga, like I'm a Muchiga. Mu means a person, and Chiga is a tradition. So that means I'm a Muchiga. And the language that I speak is called Ruchiga.
I'm from a family of 4 members. That's my mom, my dad, and my brother and I. We were brought up in a small family, and we were taught religions. I'm a Catholic by religion.
Where I come from, we eat from one pot. We don't insult, we don't backbite. Our love unites us.
One of it is the byproducts that we extract from the milk that comes from the cows. When we extract milk from the cows, we boil the milk, we leave it to settle or cool down. Then there's a cream that develops on top. We collect that cream, keep it in a calabash. So we keep it until maybe it's about a liter or 2.
I was born in a polygamous family, and I'm the 8th of 10 children from my mother's womb. So, in our culture, I was born in a Muslim family, and my nickname is Isa. So, when I was 17 years, I accepted Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. And since then, I've seen God working in me. I didn't have faith that I would be at university, but God's grace, I'm now at university.
In our culture, the parents are the heads of our families, or the father is the head of the family. And when he dies, the children are supposed to take up his property. And the overall leader of the Bachiga is called Omukuru Womijango. And actually my father is called Mijango David. So we consider Omukuru Womijango as to be the leader of the Bachiga.
Put in a calabash for about a week or 2. We allow it to ferment. Then we add salt, iodized, I think. We add salt to that fermented milk, that cream, and then we leave it to settle. After 3 days, we shake it. We shake it tremendously and repeatedly until that cream turns into white. And usually we serve it to special guests. In our language, it's commonly known as Engeero. It's very delicious. We usually eat it with matoke.
We eat our food in an open environment. Everyone who passes by is a part of our meal. We don't have strangers, and my people are never mean.
I thank God because my parents are still living, and in our tribe, when you are going to marry, you have to look for a girl. Then you go to your uncle, you tell your uncle that uncle have seen a girl. So it's up to them whether they accept him or not.
We belong together. When I'm away from home, I miss home.
My name is Joan Owade from Kenya. I'm a Luo by tribe. My mom and my dad, they were both Luos. And I'm here to represent an item from my culture. This one is called a rungu.
My name is Kanyange Flavia. I'm Ganda by tribe. My item today is a back cloth.
By the names of Halima Wahida. I'm a Muslim to Muslims. Assalamu alaikum. Here with me, I have a drum.
I'm called Nakaimba Joan. I'm a Muganda by tribe. I'm from Masaka district. Yes. Here with me, I have a Chibo in Uganda.
I'm Nalwama Mariam. I'm Uganda from tribe. I'm Uganda by tribe, and I'm from Uganda, from Ruel district. That's side. Here with me, I've brought a knife. In Uganda, it's called a kambe.
I'm called Banch Isaac from Busoga region. I'm Busoga by tribe, headed by Shalazinga. Here I'm carrying one of the traditional items. It's called akajonjo.
This here is a basket that in our tradition as Watoro, we use it to put our staple food, which is millet bread. So we eat in groups. Like the boys will have their own basket, and also the girls might have their own basket, and the parents also have their own basket. So being that we don't use forks or spoons while eating millet, you take it in turns to pick some millet from here into your bowl of soup.
A rungu in my culture, as you can see this, it is usually kept by the fathers in our homes, and its main reason is to protect their daughters. The main reason for having this is to ensure that no boy comes across their daughter before marriage. And any boy who comes around, they're supposed to use this to box the boy.
This is a mortar, and this is a pestle. We use it for pounding a lot of things, majorly eatables. And for this case, I'm going to experiment for you how we use it for pounding groundnuts in order to come up with groundnut paste. My sister here will help me pound it as my wife. In Teso, where I come from, women, this is their role. They have to make sure they prepare enough food, and in that food they should put something to make it taste good. And she has to put the groundnuts in the pestle. The groundnuts are here, and she'll be pounding. This is a hard task because she has to do this for 20 minutes or 30 minutes to come up with a fine product. Now my role as a husband, I have to sit somewhere with my akogo. These instruments, I can use it for playing music that can motivate her. I can compose a song that can say, oh, my wife, she's beautiful. She is working on the maido. She's working on the groundnuts as I'm here sitting. And then you can see the sound like this.
This this is a backcloth, only that I failed to get a plain piece. The brown one is called a backcloth. I brought this to just show you, and this is a backcloth. Long ago in a traditional society, in the Buganda culture, it was used as a mat. It was used as a mat to be sat on during the time people were home or anywhere. It was as well used as a cloth. It was put on as a cloth. They would use it for anything.
I have a drum, and it is so important for Bugandans to have drums. And in Buganda, we use the drums for cultural ceremonies, and we use it for instance, these drums are used to welcome the Kabaka in case of the culture ceremony. They use them to drum when they're welcoming the Kabaka. It's also used for entertainment.
So what happens when a girl is married officially? The father has to hand over this to the son-in-law and request the son-in-law that, please, I'm not using this to box you, but you're going to use this to protect my daughter in future. Not only for protection after marriage, but the son-in-law also has to ensure that the culture continues, is kept alive. So the son-in-law will also use this one to protect his future daughters, to ensure that no man comes along to tamper with their daughters before marriage.
This is used for keeping food. We can use this to keep food. Late in the days, there are no freezers, fridge, where you could keep food like our modern situation right now. So we kept food here. And another thing, during the times of harvesting, we could use this while harvesting. You could keep your crops here or your seeds here.
It has many importance in Uganda here. And the first importance is peeling. The knife traditionally was used for peeling. Till now, it's used for peeling. It can be used for slicing different stuffs like vegetables or other things. It can be used for slaughtering animals or meat for eating. And traditionally, every woman was supposed to have a knife. And it was a must for every Muganda lady to have a knife.
Long time ago, whenever a pot got broken, our judges or ancestors used to pick some of this piece, and it was of much importance. One, it was used as a plate whenever they were having a meal. They could bring one of these and serve sauce, and you have a meal. Another thing they use it for mixing drugs. Whenever a person got sick, they brought this thing and they mixed drugs and they mixed that person to drink.
Now these baskets are in sizes. There is a smaller size than this one, which if you entered a house of Mtoro who in an effort to show that they welcome you, they will hand you that smaller basket. A smaller basket, inside it has coffee beans that as you talk to your host, you are allowed to pick coffee beans and eat. If they don't offer you that basket, but you see it somewhere around the room, then you know that maybe you are not very welcome in the house.
And in 15 to 20 minutes, all the work is done. For me, my work is to motivate her. And later, later after the work, this is the final product. It will come out like this, ready for eating. They use it for pasting any kind of sauce. We can even taste it. Here it is.
This is handed over officially at marriage ceremonies by the father-in-laws to the son-in-laws. Finally, there is also another smaller arungu, like the one you are seeing me holding. It is a bit smaller compared to the first one. This one has to be given to the son-in-law by the daughter's favorite brother. So this one was given to my husband actually by my twin brother, because he was my favorite brother, and he has to officially hand over this to his brother-in-law to show him that I loved my sister so much, I protected her so much when she was still a girl, but now that you are going to take up the responsibility, I hand over this to you and ensure you protect her. So this is arungu from Luo culture, Kenya.
To be worn. Then it was used for burial. During burial ceremonies, it's where this brown backcloth, it's called olubugo in Luganda. It was where the dead body was folded before they put it into the grave. That was before there were no cassettes, the coffins where they bury. Then the other thing is it was used as a bed sheet. This is too heavy. It can be used as a blanket, bed sheet, blanket, or anything to cover yourself up as you're sleeping. Then lastly, it was used as a backcloth would be used to make bags that were used to be carried by women in the ATS.
And another importance is that they used it in smoking houses, in the houses, when they wanted to put pleasant smell in the house. So it was much used in our traditional society.
This knife, traditionally, they used to give a lady a knife as she was going to get married, as a sign, or to be used for cooking, meaning she was supposed to use it or to prepare food to the husband and her family members.
The drum is also used in clan, what should I call it? In clan descriptions. Let's say, for instance, the clan for Mamba, they have their, let me term it in Luganda, it's called Omubala. The Ambala, it says, Mazinywa, Mamba Siria. Mazinywa, Mamba Ndia. Mazinywa, Mamba Ndia. That's how it says, and that's all I had.
We could use this also for winnowing, like this, when you want to make your food or seeds in a proper way, like when you're moving stones or what, any bad thing from it, you can use it. It's like this. That's winnowing. So this was so good, but as per now, we don't use it in our homes like we did before.
We also use them during traditional marriage ceremonies. They also contain coffee beans. Again, they are passed to the people who come from the man's side. If the introduction is going on, the man's side gets milk in glasses or gourds and coffee beans.
And I can eat it as a husband. Okay, right. That is it. That's how we use this in Teso, where I come from.
Back in the days, when I was still young, in the village called Buyukwe in Uganda, our grandparents, though some have passed on, we used to gather around what we call in our local language a choto, and they could narrate to us beautiful stories.
And when I was growing up, I grew up with my grandmother, who used to tell us kind of stories that helped us to keep thriving and growing. And this is a kind of a story she told to me. This story is just a touch of a young lady who had only one daughter. Her name was Njabala, and then this lady never used to show what this young girl would really have to do in the reality of life. And so I'm kind of narrating the story in English. Once upon a time, there lived a young lady in a village who had one daughter, and the daughter was Njabala. This young daughter lived with her mom, who loved her, cherished her a lot, but never used to show her what she was supposed to do as a young lady and when she would grow up in real life. And then the mother later on had to die. Oh, when she died, what happened? The young girl was left behind in the life alone. And guess what? She didn't know what to do. Actually, she got married later on, but she failed out in the marriages. And wherever she could go to the gardens, she could cry for the ghost of the deceased mother who wasn't always around. And this story, I'll end it at that because it's quite a long story and has some songs behind. But the meaning and the essence of the story behind is that we should teach our children what to do. No matter how you love your daughter or son, we ought to teach them. And we children, we should be able to learn. My mother told us, my grandmother used to tell us that we live with people who love us a lot, but they do not tell us what we ought to know. That's what happened to that young family. And guess what? When she grew up, she wasn't able to portray what she would do, and life became hard for her.
My mom used to tell me, what about this guy that used to, steal when he was young? He stole. When he was in primary school, he went to his school, he stole his friend's pencil, his friend's erasers, his friend's things. He would bring them home. His mom will help him keep it. If his dad wants to talk, his mom will get angry and protect her child. Then as the boy grew up to become a young man, he went on to start stealing bigger things. Then at a point in his career, he became a real armed robber and became a terror to the society. So the police caught up with him and arrested him, and he was sentenced to die by firing squad. So on the day of his execution, his mom was there, she was crying and everything. Then the boy told the executors that they should please give him one last chance to speak to his mother. And his mom said, okay, let me listen to what he has to say. So he told her to move closer. And as she moved closer, he told her to whisper it into her ears. So as she put her face close to him so she can hear what he wanted to say, he beat her in the ear, he beat her ears off, and told her that she was the cause of his problems, that when he was younger and he stole pencils in school, she didn't correct him. When he stole erasers, she didn't correct him. When he grew up to become an armed robber, she protected him. That she was the reason why he's being executed right now. So the moral of the story was basically that spare the rod and spoil the child. That when we were younger, our parents should correct us, should beat us when we needed to be beaten, so that we don't grow up to become criminals.
Stories of that kind. But behind the stories, they had a message they were delivering to us. For example, if you sit near where they're cooking from, water might be poured on you and you get burnt. They used to tell us many different stories which inspired us and told us on how to behave in this world.
So the song, it came in by a ghost, kind of a ghost, because the mother had already deceased. And when she died, she used to come back in form of a ghost, and she should sing to her daughter while helping her out with the chores of the home as a lady. And this is a song in my local language in Uganda. Njabala njabala tolinsanzo mko njabala. Njabala njabala tolinsanzo mko njabala. So that song means that you should let your husband meet me here like when I'm helping you out. But all the cause comes when you do not train your children what they ought to do. So my grandmother used to teach us all that whenever we should become parents or when you are a child in a home, you ought to learn what you're supposed to do. And then in the end of it all, you will have to face life alone, not with anyone else.
My grandparents, my parents, and I have very different habits because we are very different generation due to development of cultures.
My name is Naluba Aisha. I'm Muganda from Mitana district, Busunju village. I'm Muganda by tribe, and my life is totally different from my parents' life, whereby my mother, they used to do bush visiting. That is in our local language. In our local language, we call it okuchalira ensiko.
I'm Fred Tibaingana, a Engeero by tribe, a son of a Muhima, and a mother. My mother she's a Muganda. My father migrated from Tanzania, Karagwe, to Uganda, met my mother, then produced me with others.
There are many ways in which we are different. My grandparents used to live in houses built of grass. My parents used to live in house built of soil, but the roof was covered with grass. But nowadays, in our times, we live in house with comfortable materials and durable materials.
Right now, it's like we can't do that. You can't find a Muganda lady doing that. Yeah. You find some people, they do, but those ones who grew up in town, they don't do bushy visiting. And another one is the dressing code.
But again, me, the way I see, I'm totally different from my parents and my grandparents, simply because my parents were pastoralists. My dad is a Muhima, used to practice pastoralism, but me, when they produced us, I have never seen any pastoralism going on at our home, meaning I personally have never practiced pastoralism. That's cattle rearing, moving with cattle and rest, but my parents used to do so.
There is a lot of rituals that have been left since with the years. For example, during the celebration of marriages, they could celebrate like 1 week, for 1 week. Nowadays, this is not possible.
So that's why I'm saying I'm totally different from my parents. They are cattle keepers, but me, I don't have any knowledge about keeping cattle.
My parents, my mom, my real mom, she always put on gomeses, but it is very difficult for me to put on a gomez right now. It's like if someone tells me, Aisha, there is a gomez there to put on, I can't put on.
During marriage celebrations, parents of the girl could give a kind of straw to the new husband, and if the husband give back the straw to the parents as the way it was, that could mean that the girl was virgin. But if the straw was broken, that could mean that the girl was not virgin. And nowadays, this is very impossible.
I'm Susan Muhindo, a girl from Renzo region, from Kasese. And for me, I want to talk about how my life will be different from my children.
First of all, I grew up with my auntie. The way she used to tell me things, or the way she taught me, it was totally different. I came to observe when I grew up.
What I missed, of which I would like my child to do, which I didn't do, it's like enjoying storytelling from my grandparents.
So in my observation, I saw that he missed out some things that he was supposed to tell me or to teach me as my aunt, because for us in our tribe, a girl child has to meet auntie, or sometimes she has to visit aunties, and you have some things to discuss.
Life today, socially, it is easy, and normally we do it. We can move out to socialize with our friends, which will not be easy in this growing technology, whereby it will be forced our children to be indoors because of the time they will take with their.
I was raised by a single parent, that's my mom, and I did get the love from my dad. So I would like, in God's presence, I would like my kids to have my love if I become a father.
My life, since I was born, I used to get stories from my grandparents, like from my grandmom, used to tell me how to keep myself safe and how to socialize with other relatives. But I'm predicting the life of my children will be different from mine.
Because here nowadays, my life, the way I've grown up in this life of moving. I'm not much of my tribe. I don't know much of my tribe, but I'll make sure my children grow up from my village and they know what it's all about. Because now I have very many mothers from a family where I have very many mothers. I have a Kenyan, I have Ugandans, and those ones from different tribes. So I'll make sure my children, they grow up when they know that however much you're having this culture, you're from different cultures, tribes, different background, but you'll have to have one. You have to respect and come back home.
In our culture, it was like a must during evening time or like at night when the moon is out. Should move out outside the house. You sit with your grandparents. He or she should be telling you like interesting stories, how you should take care of yourselves, how you should be handling your wives and girlfriends.
So these days, aunties are becoming like sisters, kind of. They are not doing their work very well. So I think my children will get more from me. They will learn a lot from me as a mother. I don't think whether I'll even use those aunties because they are now acting like their sisters. So I think they will not even ask why their father got married to me because they get a credit from me.
Technology such as computers, laptops, their phones. So those things will take their time not to socialize with their friends outdoors.
Now we are moving to high technology levels. Hereby, some information my children will be getting them from internet, like Facebook, WhatsApp, sharing from different organizations, more especially formal organizations, not that informal organizations.
Another thing is, in our culture, we are cattle keeper. We keep cows mostly. Another thing that I missed was, in our culture, if you are a boy, you are supposed to be like grazing cows when you're like free in your holidays. I missed that. Most of the time for grazing cows, I used to be moving, visiting girls, visiting friends, which I really feel like I missed that my child would go back.
I want them to enjoy my love in case I'm to have a child or in case I'm to have a family. That's how their lives will be different from mine. Even the one who does not have what to give out gives what he or she has, because that is who we are. I love my community.